Well. Cheers. How are you?
I'm fine. Just like old times.
It's been a long time.
Yes. I thought of you the other day.
Good God, why? Why?
Well, it's nice sometimes to think back, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Do you know how long it is since we last met?
Well, I came to that private view at the gallery. When was it?
No, I don't mean that.
Oh, you mean alone?
Yes. 2 years.
Yes, I thought it must be.
Long time.
Yes, it is. How's Robert?
When did you last see him?
Haven't seen him for months. Don't know why. Why?
Why what?
Why did you ask when I last saw him?
I just wondered. How's Sam?
You mean Judith?
Do I?
You remember the form? I ask about your husband, you ask about my wife.
Yes, of course. How is your wife?
All right.
Sam must be tall.
He is tall. Quite tall. Does a lot of running. He's a long-distance runner. He wants to be a zoologist.
No, really? Good. And Sarah?
She's 10.
God, I suppose she must be.
Yes. She must be. Ned's 5, isn't he?
You remember?
Well, I would remember that.
Yes. You're all right, though.
Oh. Yeah, sure.
Ever think of me?
I don't need to think of you.
Oh?
I don't need to think of you. Anyway, I'm all right. How are you?
Fine. Really. All right.
You're looking very pretty.
Really? Thank you. I'm glad to see you.
So am I. I mean to see you.
You think of me sometimes?
I think of you sometimes. I saw Charlotte the other day.
No. Where? She didn't mention it.
She didn't see me in the street.
But you haven't seen her for years.
I recognized her.
How could you? How could you know?
I did.
What did she look like?
You.
No. What did you think of her, really?
I thought she was lovely.
Yes. She's very... She's smashing. She's 13. Do you remember that time? Oh, God, it was when you picked her up and threw her up and caught her.
She was very light.
She remembers that, you know.
Really?
Being thrown up.
What a memory. She doesn't know about us, does she?
Of course not. She just remembers you as an old friend.
That's right. Yes, everyone was there that day, standing around. Your husband, my wife, all the kids, I remember.
What day?
When I threw her up. It was in your kitchen.
It was in your kitchen.
Darling.
Don't say that. It all...
Seems such a long time ago.
Does it?
Everyone has. Charlie the plumber got hold of him. What do you want, check?
I thought of you the other day. I was driving through Kilburn. Suddenly I saw where I was. I just stopped. And then I turned down Kinsale Drive and drove into Wessex Grove. I drove past the house and then stopped about 50 yards further on like we used to do. Do you remember?
Yes.
People were coming out of the house. They walked up the road.
What sort of people?
Oh, young people. Then I got out of the car, went up the steps and looked at the bells. You know, the names on the bells. I looked for our name.
Green? Couldn't see it, eh?
No.
That's because we're not there anymore. We haven't been there for years.
No, we haven't.
I hear you're seeing a bit of Casey.
What?
Casey? I just heard you were seeing a bit of him.
Where did you hear that from?
Oh, people talking.
Christ.
Funny thing was, the only thing I really felt was irritation. I mean, irritation that nobody gossiped about us like that in the old days. I nearly said, now look, she may be having the occasional drink with Casey, but she and I had an affair for 7 years, and none of you bastards had the faintest idea it was happening.
I wonder. I wonder if everyone knew all the time.
Don't be silly. We were brilliant. Nobody knew. Whoever went to Kilburn in those days? Just you and me. Anyway, what's all this about you and Casey?
What do you mean?
What's going on?
We have the occasional drink.
I thought you didn't admire his work.
I've changed. Or his work has changed. Are you jealous?
Of what? I couldn't be jealous of Casey. I'm his agent. I advised him on his divorce. I read all his first drafts. I persuaded your husband to publish his first novel. I escorted him to Oxford to speak at the Union. He's my boy. I discovered him when he was a poet, and that's a bloody long time ago now. He's even taken me down to Southampton to meet his mum and dad. I couldn't be jealous of Casey. Anyway, it's not as if we're having an affair now, is it? We haven't seen each other for years. Really, I'm very happy if you're happy. What about Robert?
Well, I think we're going to separate.
Oh.
We had a long talk last night.
Last night?
You know what I found out last night? He's betrayed me for years. He's had other women for years.
No. Good Lord. But we betrayed him for years.
But he betrayed me for years.
Well, I never knew that.
Nor did I.
What a funny thing. We were such close friends, weren't we? Robert and me, even though I haven't seen him for a few months, but through all those years, all the drinks, all the lunches we had together, I never even gleaned. I never suspected there was anyone else in his life but you. Never. For example, when you're with a fellow in a pub or a restaurant, for example, from time to time he pops out for a piss, you see. Who doesn't? But what I mean is if he's making a crafty telephone call, you can sort of sense it, you see. You can sense the pip-pip-pips. Well, I never did that with Robert. He never made any pip-pip telephone calls in any pub I was with him in. The funny thing is that it was me that made the pip-pip calls to you when I left him boozing at the bar. That's the funny thing. When did he tell you this?
Last night. I think we were up all night.
You talked all night?
Yes. Oh, yes.
I didn't come into it, did I?
What?
I just
phoned you this morning, you know, that's all. Because we're old friends. I've been up all night, the whole thing's finished. I suddenly felt I wanted to see you.
Well, look, I'm happy to see you. I am. I'm sorry about
Do you remember? I mean, you do remember.
I remember. You didn't tell Robert about me last night, did you?
I had to. He told me everything. I told him everything. We were up all night. At one point, Ned came down. I had to take him up to bed, had to put him back to bed. Then I went down again. I think it was the voices woke him up, you know.
You told him everything?
I had to.
You told him everything about us?
I had to.
But he's my oldest friend. I mean, I picked his own daughter up in my own arms and threw her up and caught her in my own kitchen. And he watched me do it.
It doesn't matter. It's all gone.
Is it? What has?
It's all over.